Baby, this your song, turn it up, let's vibe, let me put it in cruise, get that view next to you, only you and I, baby. Oh baby, this a vibe. Oh, look at you, look at me, look at where you wanna be. Hit your frequency right, manifest the one we vibe. Oh baby, this a vibe. Oh baby. You know I count all my blessings, thank God for another day. I'll never give up today, cause tomorrow I might just win. Let me get a hold of your waist, you my beautiful, my crazy lover. You take the pain on the way, get that energy the same, You know I'm about my business, doing business on the low key. Oh, I'll be steady grooving as my baby next to me is a witness. Oh, I'll be steady grooving as my baby next to me is a witness. Oh, I'll be steady grooving as my baby next to me is a witness. Baby, this your song, turn it up, let's vibe, let me put it in cruise, get that view next to you, only you and I, baby. Oh baby, this a vibe. Oh, look at you, look at me, look at where you wanna be. Hit your frequency right, manifest the one we vibe. Oh baby, this a vibe.
Stop. You better stop. That's not true. Tala for Utah. Hey, what's going on? Hey, everybody. Welcome into Budahs Lounge, part of Everyday People. The conversations and the jokes are already starting. I've been part of the Utah media landscape for the last 20-something years, and I invited my friends on to come and talk to them because I felt like they didn't always get their flowers. They didn't always get their due. And these are men and women that have been doing it in the community. To my right, this man has put a lot of people employed. People that make silly string, you make a fortune because of this guy. Fire extinguishers. Every time you have to refill one back in the day, this guy was the one that helped pay your bills. Insurance claims, hospital bills, surgeries. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is no stranger to the lights and the glamour of Hollywood, even though it's here in the state of Utah. The first, the original, the OG. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up. He will always be the original Utah Jazz Bear, my good friend, Jon Absey.
What are you doing, sir? How you doing?
How many surgeries? How many broken bones? Oh, man, there's so many. We can go on and on, man. How are you still here?
I'm doing, how am I what?
How are you still here?
How am I still here?
Yeah, you're put together.
By the love of God, right there.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I have a great guardian angel.
I'm sure.
No, I'm dead, and I'm dead serious.
And he doesn't even pay tithing. That is just crazy.
I don't, but I do have a good guardian angel. I have a good voice in my head, or somebody watching out that's
I don't know about all that.
My head, yeah. No, I mean, there were many times that I would do something and the voice in my head would kick in and I didn't do it. And sure enough, if I would have died. I swear to you.
Yeah.
Like, and this goes all the way back when I was in Winnipeg up in Canada. I would straddle these beams and I was in this kaboom outfit. It was a polar bear. And they would play Thunderstruck and I would jump and I would just zoom and rappel in.
Yeah.
And I got up there, I was late, and I remember I hooked in without taking my head off because I was like, I do this a million times.
Oh, gosh.
And I just felt off. And I felt like I was to my right a little bit, and this voice was just, don't go, something's wrong, don't go, I swear. And they kicked in the music, and I literally got up on my toes to bring my feet in and go, and I stopped, and I missed the intro, and I took my head off, and I hooked into a cargo strap that holds about 15 pounds. So. Yeah, it would have been ugly.
Oh gosh.
So that happened so many times. I just, another time. It was,
really quick, not to cut you off, but I want to credit that to, once you become a lovable character, I promise you, I know this because I've snuck in on kids praying for Santa Claus.
Yep.
So I know there are kids out there. I know there are families that were praying for your safety, that were praying. Not whether you believe it or not. I'm just saying people were looking out for you. You know what I mean? So whatever you want to credit that to.
There was something going on.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that happened for you.
Yep.
You mentioned that it happened many times. You've made a career out of doing stuff that everybody's trying to do now on TikTok, on Instagram, trying to create stuff, trying to get people to watch and like it. You've been doing it for a long time. I want to take all the way back before you actually put on the suit. Were you an athlete? Did you have any aspirations to compete in an athletic competition?
Yeah, no. No, I mean,
because you look like a gymnast. Because you have the body of a gymnast, I would say.
God bless you.
Okay,
I
not like that.
appreciate
Not
it. I'm
don't
sucking in so
stop.
hard right now
This
because
is-
I'm sitting next to
He's
you.
my real friend, guys. You better stop.
Just the way you hug me and little spoon, big spoon. I love it. It's all good. It's all
I'm
good.
not.
No, I don't know. I mean,
I should have made him sign a thing not to talk about stories and stuff.
and I'm also watching my P's and Q's. I'm not swearing, if you've noticed. I
Wow.
haven't swore yet.
Well, here he goes. He's going to swear today for sure.
I
That
don't want
means
Cuz over there to cut me off or beat me.
He's calling Cindy his cousin. That's a story for another time. You know, like, hey, cousin, you better stop. You're going to get us in trouble. Look, how is Luke, by the way, your old assistant? I miss seeing that guy,
I
man.
haven't talked to him forever. Luke was amazing.
He was like you were the acid reaction, the chemical reaction, and he was the lid on top. You know, he kept you safe and sane, if you will.
He kept me in my lane. I mean, like without Luke, the character wouldn't have been anything. I mean, Luke helped a ton, and you know. And
Can you gush about him? Let's gush about him because again, the reason why we're doing this is because you don't get your flowers, and I know you think, but no, I wanted to make sure you got the love. But even someone like Luke, even less of appreciation, less of love. But if you're saying that if it wasn't for him, the two of you having a great team, the Utah Jazz Bear probably would not be where it was or got its start.
yeah, no, but it took. So like, you know. And I hate the word success, you know, but I mean, like, I feel like, you know, everyone's like, oh, the character was successful. But to me, I feel like the word is just more I feel success is more for me. I really like looking at it as I feel like we created a character of value for the team and for the state, you know, but and when I say it, I mean it as we.
Yeah.
There were so many people, and you know this, you know, I mean, from Grant Harrison, Teresa Pryor, you know, the first two people to hire me and bring me on, to my Bear crew, and Luke, which were, you know, irreplaceable, to the security people, to the custodial people, the ushers.
Wow.
It took everybody, and whether it was a little thing or a big thing, to just open those doors to allow me to be able to do what I did. Because there's
Now I want you to tell. Now I'm glad that you set up that way because I want you to tell this story. Y'all got to check this out. This is a crazy story on how Jon literally had to force his way to show people that what he's doing is a good thing. Talk about the early days when the organization was saying that's too much. You need to stop. What are you doing? We told you one thing, and you're doing too many things when you're doing the volunteering thing.
Oh, for charity.
Yeah, for charity. Tell me about that part, and because I think that's how the Bear really grew because you were out there doing charitable things like that. Tell that story.
No, so like when I started, you know, I was just so grateful to have a job like this, that I wanted to give back and I wanted to do charity work. But back in the day, we only had 3 charities that we supported, and I was just like, well, if I only do 3 charities, I'm not going to really be out. I'm not going to be out in the community that much. So I ended up just going and doing charity stuff. But like you know, Channel 5, Channel 4, 2, 13, whoever was there, they would get me in the background, and then the next day I'd get called in, and I remember, you know, them telling me like, hey, listen, you know, you can't do these other charities. We told you just these 3.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries, you know. And then 2 days later, I'd be on TV at a diabetes walk or a Special Olympics, and then I'd get called back in, and I swear this happened for probably 3 to 6 months until finally one day it came to a head, and it got ugly. And honestly, it was one of those things where, you know, they finally just were like, okay, you know, we're not going to stop it. apparently, you know, and so they just said, okay, we're going to give it a shot, and they let me try it, and then they saw the value in it, and so it worked out for both of us.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what were they doing? What's the alternative? They didn't have a community active in involvement at the time. You were really it was very, very, like you said, there was the 3 charities, and to me, and again, I'm not throwing shade. To me, it's like, okay, we're doing our bare minimum. Let's just do these. That's enough, right? And then here comes along a guy who, you guys want to give back? I'm going to show you how to give back. But it comes from a loving place. That's what I wanted people to understand. There was no ego. You just were so grateful. You wanted to give back.
And I appreciate that. But I think a lot of it too is because Mascots were brand new. I was one of probably 5 in the whole NBA, you know, that we were new. Nobody knew how to handle us. Nobody knew what to do with us, what our value was. So they were just uneducated. And I think, and not being mean when I say that, they just didn't know. And I think part of it was they were trying to understand it. And you know, in our industry, everybody wants to kind of control pieces of it.
I did
And
that.
It was that. Okay, we'll just let, you know, like letting a bird go. Okay, we're going to trust you.
We're going to give you enough rope to hang yourself.
Oh, that's what Grant Harrison said that to me.
Yeah.
That was my first day.
I'm
He said
pretty
that. He
sure.
goes, yep, he goes, that's exactly what he said. And it worked.
Yep. Good thing it was a long rope.
Yeah, I know. It yanked a couple times, many times, but we were close.
Let me ask you this last question before we take a break. I wanted to ask you, did you ever because I've seen you encounter fans sometimes, did you ever encounter a Hawaiian family, a Tongan family, or a Polynesian family, and did their anger get triggered when you sprayed them with silly string or fire extinguishers?
Do they have to be Polynesian? Or
Wow. I just wanted to see how bad they got mad, that's all.
No, I mean, there were times, you know, that I misjudged, you know. You know, dude, you're out there.
But
You know
I'd
exactly
rather
what I'm
hear
talking
you
about.
say it.
Where you go out there, and I felt like I had a pretty good sense of, you know, I can push this person so far, but it was a shorter fuse.
Very
It
short.
happened really quick.
Yeah.
So I misjudged.
Did your head come off by chance?
Why do you say?
Did someone? I heard an incident. That's all. I just heard something happening.
No, it was a very misjudged that situation.
Really quick, before we go into break, we're gonna take a look at some of your highlights. But I wanted you to set up, if you wouldn't mind, what was it like to be able to perform in front of the Utah audience, in front of the NBA audience, all those years before we show a highlight clip.
It was amazing. I was really fortunate in the fact that there's a lot of mascots out there that never really got accepted, and then the teams got rid of them. I was really fortunate that the crowd and the fans accepted the bear and embraced it because there's just there's a number of mascots that came on board. The Golden State Warriors is one of them. I don't know if back in the day it was this bleacher creature looking thing, and the crowd just never accepted it, and they got rid of them. So I was really fortunate, and I loved working for our crowd here enough to where I remember, the rest of the league, all the other mascots were pushing for social media, and they wanted likes and all this other stuff. And I just kept telling everybody, I was like, listen, why do I care what somebody in Miami thinks about the bear? I just want to entertain and focus on my crowd, my fans. So I
You
never
win in
did
Utah,
social
you'll
media.
win every else.
Yeah, I really, focused hard on in-arena stuff. And a lot of the other guys were just, we got to do social media. Now I get it, but back in the day, I never did social media because I didn't understand it. I just wanted to focus on our crowd, our fans,
You wanted to win at home. You wanted to win at home first.
Yeah,
Win
exactly,
your crowd.
100%. I think that's where it starts.
Well, with that in mind, we're going to take a break, and then please enjoy this clip, some of our good friend Jon Absey's highlights. When we come back, we're going to talk about his relationship with some of the NBA stars, and then also the charitable thing that comes out of being the Utah Jazz Bear, Mascot Miracles. We're going to talk about that next. Don't move muscle. Enjoy the highlights.
Woo!
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us here at Buddha's Lounge under Everyday People. Our guest tonight is the one, the only, the original Utah Jazz Bear, Mr. Jon Absey. I would also say those highlights, man, you made people think they could do things. You know, you made people, like Peter Pan. Let's just talk about that. I remember you when I just hear the word mascot and the Utah Jazz Bear. I do, just because we're friends, I do know this. But I saw you glide among the people. I saw you float. I saw you sprinkle dust among them. You know, in my mind, you brought smiles to a lot of people. And so hearing you say that you focused on Utah, everybody out there, you should understand, if you can learn something from this man, listen to the nugget he already dropped. He focused on his home crowd first, and then he became beloved by the NBA. I want to start by asking referees, NBA All-Stars, like, you know, LeBron James, of that caliber, when they would come to visit, what was the idea or the notion with the relationship with the mascot, whether it's a home or visiting?
It changed, you know, and I'm sure you've seen the change, especially with you, you know, doing all the morning shows.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and just talking with players, you know, back in the day when it was Clyde Drexler and Barkley and all those guys.
Even Jordan back in those days,
They were fun. They understood it was a game. They understood that, you know, we were out doing a job, and there was like this mutual respect. And I still remember walking in the visiting team locker room before a game and walking over to Barkley and being like, hey, this is what I want to do tonight, blah, blah, blah. And we would set up the skit. I mean, it was that cool, that easy. And now, you know, then as, you know, when they got out, and then the NBA, when we used to use the referees all the time, they stopped and they said that you can't mess with the mascots as much. And then, you know, the mascots started doing more and more, and then I remember literally in the book, in the NBA guidebook, there was probably a little paragraph about that big, you know, for mascots.
What?
And then by the time I left, it was probably 4 pages of don'ts. It was crazy.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and because they, once again, didn't understand how to utilize mascots and what we could do and what we would do. But the players changed over time, and not for the better. And I really...
do you credit that to social media? What do you credit that to? The
No,
idea that we're not on the same team, because I know what you're talking about. When Barkley and those guys were at the top of their game, I did always see them play with the mascots. I saw them play with referees, and they understood that this is our craft. We need to bring people, and these guys, the mascots, wherever, they're helping us, right? You're right. I don't know if I see that anymore.
Oh, not at all. I mean, I remember Greg Foster, Stephen Minnie, because fans used to be able to come right down to the court.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And there was always, they would be talking and they would interact with the players and stuff. And that was back when we had real fans. But I remember Greg Foster getting asked to go to dinner, like over at Stephen Minnie's house, and he went. It was just the coolest thing. And I remember Adam Keefe one time sitting up in the crowd, and he was just talking to some fans before the game. Carl, John, I mean, like everybody.
Yeah.
It was like you could see that the players appreciated that these fans paid money, came out downtown on a cold winter night to watch them play, and I feel like that old school generation is gone. This new school is all about them. They're ignorant and they're arrogant. There, and I said it.
Well, I'll also say too that you know, that love of the fandom. I don't know anywhere else, but here in Utah, I have noticed that they've had a lot of older generation, and it's not just the men. There are old grandmas who are hardcore Utah Jazz fans. And I don't know if I've seen that a lot. I remember coming to the games and I would see a whole bunch of grandmas sitting behind. I'm like, oh, those must be the middle. No, they are paid customers.
Yep.
That was crazy. Is that kind of where the love and the level of fandom for the Utah, because that's what I've heard around the league, is that Utah fans are some of the craziest fans. And I'm like, well, you got crazy fans and you got a crazy mascot. Those two combinations happen.
Our fans it's pretty funny how, you know, it's Utah and the LDS religion and,
right?
You know, and all this other stuff, but they really loved when I would just smash a visiting team.
Crazy.
It was awesome. But, you know, I really think, you know, today's world with the sports, and I remember Frank Layden saying this, and it's kind of coming true, is he said there's going to come a time that, your regular fans aren't going to be able to afford a ticket. And right now, and he said, then what's going to happen is all the tickets are going to be corporate. This business or that business are all going to buy. I'll buy 50, and this guy's buying 100 for his business, and they're just going to hand them out. And I really believe that's what's happened. As I remember, we still talk about the '90s when I talk to some of the old employees, and we talk about how great it was because everybody in the lower bowl was a fan.
Yeah.
And and even in the upper bowl. But I'm just saying is now. It's people who have been given tickets by a company who might not be a fan, and they might be there because they want to watch the other team, but it's not the same. As they don't care about the Jazz like the old school season ticket holder fans did back in the 90s and early 2000s. And the players, I feel, have a lot to do with that as well. And that's why earlier when I said ignorant and arrogant, is they're ignorant in the fact that they just think that, well, they're going to come. And it's like, the reason people get endeared to a sport is because they get to know that player. And these players nowadays, they just don't have that connection with the fans, and they don't understand that people buying tickets is what keeps you employed on this
Do you think that's part of social media's fault, that the players nowadays think that their interaction or that their posting is enough for them to call that interaction with fans?
No, I think it's both. I think it's the fans and the players. Is the fans have turned players or sports athletes into these, too big. They're idolizing them too much, and I feel that these players, not all of them, there are some really good players that still give back, but there's these other players that just feel that they're above everything else, and it all stems because, well, I guess social media too, but because of these fans that put them up on too much of a pedestal. And I think that, it's sad. I really wish, like when we were growing up, you idolized your parents and you looked up to them. And now it's, you have these people and these kids that look up to these players who probably wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire.
Yeah. But not only that, but, that saying, you never want to meet your heroes.
Yeah.
They're not as fun.
And I mean, I got stories. And you sit there and you just go, really? And it's those unsuspecting ones that you just go, oh my hell, that is the coolest thing. Yeah. I mean, it's super cool. Like when you see a player that goes out, or celebrity, whatever it is, that goes out and does something in the community, or and helps by donating or going to a charity and actually giving of their time instead of, if I had $5 and I could give to a charity and I called it good and everybody, thought it was awesome. But if I can give them my time, that's impressive, to give your time. And a lot of these celebrities and stuff, they just don't do that. It's too easy for them to give them $5,000 and then walk away.
Is that now becoming the rookie's job, to show up at these things instead of the seasoned vets, the seasoned stars?
Oh hell, excuse me. A lot of times showing up at these events, if they show up on their own, that's great. But I've seen many times where the team's like, hey, we got this event that you have to go to, and it might be a charity event, but the team has to pay the player. And you're just like, really? It's like the team's got, this guy makes how many millions, and the team has to pay him
for an appearance.
Wow, to go to a charity event. Yeah, that's BS.
But see, and again, I like connecting it back to you, were the love that the mascot had, the love that you had for the city was exactly that. You wanted to give back. And speaking of giving back, out of this job that you have, you created this whole lane by yourself. And I know you got a team. I know you and the team and everybody created this lane. But out of that comes Mascot Miracles. Tell me about where that was born. Was it on a napkin at a D's diner? How did that happen?
Well, actually, Mascot Miracles is the brainchild of Rich Ellis. So
Rich?
Yeah.
That was Rich's brainchild?
Yeah. He came to me one day and he told me about it, and I was just like, damn, that's great, And I remember trying to help him as much as I could, but they grew so fast, and they were doing so many appearances, and with my schedule, I couldn't do it. So I was just like, I'm just going to do some of the bigger things. But yeah, no, that's him and his family.
I had no idea Rich was behind that.
The whole Mascot Miracle mascot group. I mean, all those guys that donate their time to get in suit and go and be with these, underprivileged kids and kids with, disabilities.
Gush a little bit. Tell me about so what is Mascot Miracles?
So Mascot Miracles is they basically go out and create moments for children with disabilities and underprivileged kids, and they because what you'll find is if you have somebody, I'm just going to throw something out, like say autism or something, and they're affected by noise, but when they have a episode, so to speak, it's hard because if I'm out in public and my child has an episode, everybody's looking at me, or I have to take them and leave. But with Mascot Miracles, it's everybody that has a child that has a disability, and if my child has a meltdown, everybody understands, and everybody loves these characters. They love them so much that a number of times they ask the mascots to show up at the child's funeral. Unfortunately, when they pass. So it's a really amazing group of people that give their time, like I just said, instead, give their time to create these moments for these children.
Kind of like making wishes?
Yeah.
Like granting wishes?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It really is like Make-A-Wish.
That's, yeah.
There you go.
Make-A-Wish. Hi, friends at Make-A-Wish. Could use some funding.
Nope, I got you.
We know the people over there. Sorry, just John's old friends.
Yes.
How many mascots are there when you started? How many mascots were there when you started, and how many have we grown to? Are you still involved with the mascots?
Yeah. So there was around probably 5 or 6 when I started, and then but none of us, like we were all competing, which was really weird. So we never shared ideas. We talked.
Yeah.
And we'd get together and hang out and go have beers, and we'd do that, but nobody really shared
Nobody
ideas.
talked shop?
Nobody talked shop.
What?
And about 98, I think it was, I started the mascot conference. Because in my head, I was like, why are we competing? I go, what I do here, and if the Phoenix Gorilla copies it, nobody's going to know. And then I actually saw that. I was like, okay, look, if we can make ourselves better by sharing ideas, it just helps our industry and helps us.
Right.
And so I started the mascot conference, and I remember everybody pushed against it. There was 5 guys that showed up for it, and I just kept doing it, and it grew and grew. And then the other leagues, the NFL, NHL, and MLB, all copied it. So they all have a mascot conference now, and I still run the NBA conference. And every team comes now. I mean, it's like a need to go to thing, because you're getting some of the top creative minds in one room that come up with ideas, and they share those ideas.
Speaking of which, stunts. When we come back, we're gonna take a break. I want to talk about the stunts, because I know you said that you didn't share ideas in the beginning, but I want to talk about how it almost came to like a one-up.
Oh yeah.
Where you saw somebody do something like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it better than that, and I'm gonna do it with fire. So come back, we're gonna talk about some of the stunts that you've seen at the Jazz game. This guy started it all, and then other mascots copied it. Okay, don't move muscle. We'll be right back.
No moving, mister.
Every time I think of heartache, nothing comes to mind. Ever since you gave me love, I haven't seen a bad thing in a while. All the flowers and the bees got nothing on you. That's true. We're just 2 lovebirds singing in the same tune. Never thought that I would feel the type of love that I had with you. You took the pain from my heart and told me that we'd see it through. All the stars
First try.
See, the mics, we might go to song, whatever, but we are still continuing the conversation. These are real conversations that we're having. Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the show. It's Budah's Lounge underneath Everyday People. Jon Absey, the original Utah Jazz Bear, still holds the Conference of Mascots for the NBA. That means if you're in San Francisco, you're in Philadelphia, if you have an NBA team, you have a mascot, chances are they're probably meeting with our guy here, Mr. Jon Absey. I left off with the idea of one-up. I know you shared the concept of sharing ideas. It was hard at first. You finally convinced these guys to share. But in the beginning, tell everyone about how you would do something, maybe not get the credit for it, and then maybe try to one-up each other to better the stunt. Case in point, dunking on the rim.
Well, so dunking was one, everybody trying to come up with a new dunk, but you'd get limited to ability, I mean, there's only so much you can do, between a reverse and through the legs and a flip dunk.
Right.
And I know we were just talking about Jerry Burrell, and we were talking, he's one of the only guys that did a double front.
Yeah.
And he, did a front tuck with 2 balls. I mean, he was amazing, and then.
Basketball guy.
I'm sorry, but. Because, but, so trampolining and dunking, everybody would try and do something bigger and better. But I specifically remember when, we did the ladder, is going on the court with a 12-foot ladder and, getting up on signs or with my signs. And then I'd show it at conference, and then I'd see the next year people copying it. And I was like, that's great. That means at least I know it was good. So So then I had Little Giant create me this big ladder. And it was
Little Giant Company?
Yeah.
The ladder company?
The ladder company.
Okay.
So they built me, they were so cool. They were awesome. And they built me this huge ladder that was 25 feet tall.
25?
So I went to the top and I would hold signs, because I was like, this is pretty
a
high.
ladder like, is it A-frame?
A-frame
Okay,
ladder.
okay.
So then we did that, and then somebody not the 25 foot, but somebody got a bigger ladder and they did signs, So then I was like, all right, so then I got to up it. So I talked to them and they welded these handles on it. So then that's when I started the handstand on the ladder. And then I did that for years, and that held for a long time. And then finally, his name is Mark Taylor. He was the mascot up in Seattle, and then went out to Oklahoma City, and he mascotted. And I'll be damned if all of a sudden he didn't kick up and do a handstand on the ladder. And I was like, okay. And I started to think about it. And then that's when I did the one-armed handstand. And then in my head, that lasted. Nobody ever copied that. But then I was like, okay, I got to change now. I got to do something.
Set it up.
So we before I was done at the Jazz, we were working on being able to do a flag. You know how like you hold yourself out?
Yeah.
And I was going to have it up through the ladder, and I was going to hold myself out into a flag position, and then they were going to rotate the bar.
This is the pole, and you were going to, like this, vertically.
Yep.
Hold yourself with the arm. Oh my God.
And then they were going to rotate me around. And so that was the next one. And that one was hard though, because I'd have to try. I'd be at the gym and I'd try and do the flag, and I'd have weights on my feet trying to copy the weight of the suit, And anyway, that's where we ended. But everybody, I remember Luke one time, because I'd always push out my stuff, and he's like, "Why are you always giving out your good stuff?" I was like, because one, like I just said, if they copy it, I know it was good.
Yeah.
2, if I don't, I'll never push myself, because when they did something, it pushed me to get outside my comfort zone and not just be in that rut and think in one direction. I was always having to think outside the box. And, that's one of those things where, sharing those ideas actually bettered the character, even if everybody was copying it, because it just made me keep pushing more and more and more.
What's the one stunt that is still held today that you still see mascots doing it, but you were the first one to do it?
I don't know. I mean, because I don't know if anybody sleds down the stairs.
I haven't seen that.
And there was the stilts on the ladder. I've never seen anybody do that.
Oh my gosh.
And I've never seen anybody do the handstand on the ladder since Mark left.
So there's a few of them.
And yeah.
What about the going through the hoop? Who started that?
I didn't. Nobody's done that yet either.
Right. I remember you'd go up and you'd dunk, and then you'd stand up and you'd cheer, and I thought it was an accident. I really felt for you because you fell through and you made it look like whoop, but it was all part of the act, and then your leg went through, and I'm like, damn, he's flexible. How do you, you know?
Thing that's interesting though is how many times when we would travel and do road shows, you know, it took me until I got stuck, but I would go through and I never realized that every arena has different nets. I mean, the NBA has similar nets, but like minor league has different nets. And they didn't stretch as much. And I remember going through the hoop and I got my ass stuck in it. And I'm sitting there stuck in this thing. And I'm looking at Luke and Luke's looking at me and he's like, we coming through? And I'm like, I'm stuck. And I couldn't get out or anything. So he had to come and shove me back out of the net. And then I remember up at Weber. I was up at Weber and I went through the net head first. And it was so small, my head couldn't even fit in.
Oh, man.
And I got stuck upside down. And it took, I literally did. I thought, I'm going to die. I'm going to fall over and I'm going to break my neck on this rim. And it took everything for me to have to push my whole, like, grab the rim and push my body and, like, press myself out of it and then come down and then fall off the rim and land. But, I mean, it took, I thought I was dead. But it was fun.
Another near-death experience brought to you by Safe Flight Repairs, Safe Flight Replace.
Yes. Like I said, it is. Yep.
Anybody who wants to be a mascot. Wait, are there any poly mascots besides Hawaiian Punch?
No.
No?
I've never. Wait, yes. Sourdough Sam was.
Sourdough Sam?
Yep, you met him.
Why Sourdough Sam?
For the 49ers, he is.
Why does he have to be Sourdough Sam?
I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Why can't he be like, Poly Pineapple? But why you got to be sour?
That's interesting that you say that. It really isn't. How you say that?
Why does he sour? He's probably Tongan, not smooth.
He's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
You met him.
He's a great
kid.
human.
I love him.
We're going to take one more break. We'll come back and wrap things up. We're going to talk about what is Jon Absey working on right now. Can you get a piece of him? I mean, the bear.
Wow.
Not him, the bear. We'll be right back.
Let me see those hands. These things have grabbed my ass before. Look at that thing.
So long on ile mafuta oh falling via matata olo tuma ubea la urosela ufua matala
When your bear suit can't hold your shit. Oh, hey, Talofa, welcome back.
We're on? Are we
the
on?
conversations just continue, even though we're at a break. I apologize, but welcome to the show. We were just talking about. I'm just going to tell you what the question. How many times have you shit in the bear suit? I'm going to ask my brother that.
My answer was.
Please, kid, is there a story that you can share?
Oh, there's plenty of stories. No, I mean, it happens to everybody in Mascots. Because especially on
the Hall of Famer.
especially when it was like Mexican food night.
Oh, wow. Wow, I got to blame it on Mexican.
Yeah, you got to do that. No, you got to go. But I'm just saying, no, it's happened to everybody. You've got to
joking.
come close.
Calm down. He's joking. Okay.
No,
but
not actually.
No, I'm not saying
No,
that. I've
done it.
done some stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that's never
It's
happened.
because-
I've shit a couple of times
And admit it, it's because you have
in your suit.
You have no choice. Like you're out there, like and you don't have an escape. And
Football players know this too. They pee and all the time.
I mean, it happens.
But tell a story. I just want people to understand that because in their mind they're thinking, no, there's no way. There's got to be a way where you got to step away. But I just want to understand that when you're in the heat of the moment, you're entertaining. Nobody can smell it but you. Is what I'm trying to say.
It's like, so how much time we got?
We got time. Tell the story.
Okay, I got two. One.
Okay.
I remember we were dunking with the dunk team, I was dunking with the dunk team, and we were out there, and I was in a rush because I didn't have time to go to the bathroom.
In a rush.
And hence why I was late getting here.
Yes.
He told me, be here at this
okay.
time, and I was late, and then I ended up with work close. But I ran out on the court, and I'm like, oh, God, my stomach, and, we all high-five.
You're in the suit, and you're in the suit.
And we're all putting our hands in the middle, and, we're all sitting there, and we're like,
How
"Whoa."
again?
Just like that. We're like, okay, here we go. And we all start, they start running, and then I go down, and I swear to you, the second I hit that trampoline, it was just boom. I was like, holy crap. And then,
In the air. In the air.
Right when I hit the tramp. And I landed, and I run back down, and everybody put their hands back in the middle, and I remember I just looked at everybody, and I go, hey, I just shit myself. And everybody's looking at me like, what? And I'm like, I just shit myself. And I was laughing. Because they could hear me laughing. Because I was like, what are you going to do about it? I mean, what am I going to do? I was like, well,
Just want to let y'all know.
all I cared about is I wasn't leaving, trail.
Right.
So anyway.
It was just going all the way down your leg.
Finished the
sure.
show, and then
Yeah.
we ran off.
Yeah.
And Matt Griff, I love him. He was head of the dunk team, Matt.
Yep.
And he just comes back. He's like, "Did you really?" I'm like, well, "It's yeah. I'm sorry." And he was like, "Oh my hell!" But I still think this is the best one. But I remember Luke and I. We were out doing a road show. We were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Okay.
And our first problem is we went to Hooters in Sioux Falls, and our first sign that we were in a wrong place.
Why do you go there? I mean, what is it? The chicken?
No,
Is it the fries?
It was. I mean, this is how long ago it was. It was kind of a new thing. Hooters.
Playing
But
it off.
we
How
went
long
there.
ago it was new
No,
thing?
we didn't even get waited on by a girl. It was a guy.
How you remember
And it was
this
the
story? It's
manager.
crazy.
Oh,
Go
hell yeah.
ahead.
So this guy waits on us. He was the manager. There's nobody else in there. It should have been our first sign. He orders crab, and I remember I just had a burger. But we go back to the arena. We're getting set up, and we both got food poisoning. And he is crapping himself and throwing up in the bathroom, and I'm just crapping in the bathroom. And all night long, because we had so many timeouts, we're doing a show. for the
Yeah,
whole
I
day.
know.
So we'd go in, or go out, we'd do a timeout, we'd run in the back, we'd both hit the bathroom, he'd be throwing up and I'd be pooping. We'd run out, do a timeout, run in the back, and he'd be pooping, but it was like this all night long.
Gosh.
And
What city is this?
Sioux Falls. South
Sioux
Dakota.
Falls.
And
Don't ever go
one,
to Hooters.
I can't believe
I
I'm
mean Hooters. Sorry,
I'm literally
Hooters.
talking about
Yeah.
shitting myself in front of the people. But so we're working. End of the game comes, and I remember it's fourth quarter. There's maybe 45 seconds left on the clock.
It's over. It's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
So I run out there with some signs, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking, and I'm just so happy this night's over because it's been such a long night, and it's just been horrible. And I'm so excited to have it done. I did the jump splits.
Oh,
Remember the jump splits?
Yes, I know your splits. Yeah.
Hit the floor and boom.
When you split?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember I stood up, and I still remember this. I remember standing there, and I remember looking around at all the crowd, and I started laughing in my head. And I started laughing because I'm just I just crap myself in front of 6,000 people. It was a big game. And I remember then I looked down at the floor, and I backed away nope, I'm good. And then I walk off the court, the game's over, and I walk in the back, I'm laughing. I look at Luke, and he's got his arm on his forehead, and he's laying on this 8-foot table. And I'm like, you will not believe what I just did. And I said, I just shit myself out on the floor. And he's like, none of that's coming home. He goes, everything. He goes, I'm not touching it because, washing it and
You
stuff.
gotta what? Yeah.
So I unzip. I'm getting ready. I'm laughing. He's laughing. He's got us all packed up. We just want to go to the hotel. And
Right.
And the general manager, Jon Absey, comes running in the back. Hey, we went into overtime.
Oh, hell.
I'm standing there, with the suit to my waist and my head off looking at him. And he's like, we need you back out there. And I'm looking at him, and, you know, you're the general manager of the team that just and you flew me in,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to be professional.
Yeah.
And I bet you it felt like 5 minutes, me staring at him, trying to come up with an answer. Then
You say it like this.
Hey, we just came. We're in overtime right now. I don't know what the hell's going on back here, but we need you out there, John. And somebody clean up this shit out here. What's going on?
It was kind of like that. But no, but then I finally looked at him and I said, hey, John, I go, I'm going to be straight up with you. I just shit myself on the
You
court.
told him?
And he goes, what? And I go, I literally did. I full on just crap myself on the court. And he just sat there. Then he sat there and looked at me trying to come up with an answer. Then he just goes, can you at least ride the motorcycle on the court?
No.
And I looked at him and I said, yeah, but that means I got to sit. And then he's like, and I go, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it. And I zipped up, put my head on, and I went out and I hopped on the motorcycle. And I remember keeping my feet on the pegs and I kept my ass off the seat as much as I could.
Yeah,
and I
that
drove
didn't
out
work.
there and I lifted my leg gingerly over the motorcycle because I thought, well, if I whip it. So I lift my leg off the motorcycle and I'm looking down again. I'm like, okay, everybody. And I hopped on the motorcycle and drove it off and went in the back. But yeah, that was the funniest damn moment. That was not the most prideful moment. I will.
Yeah. I'm sure kids came up after years later. Hey, do you remember that time?
Oh,
The best. The best. Then you're like, little did you know.
Little did you know.
Little did you know.
No, that was funny.
But that is a testament to the consummate showman that you are. The show must go on. Again, thank you for sharing the insight. Nobody knew that, but I think no.
It's like
Click,
everybody
like, and
wanted
share.
to know about a shit story.
Click, like, and share. Tag the NBA.
Oh, that
tag
is so
all
funny.
Mascots.
My kids are going to be so embarrassed. They're
Oh,
just
those
going to be
poor
like, oh
girls.
my God. But
Your sons-in-law, they're like, yeah, that's my father.
at least you got the truth.
That's my father. Yes.
I'm not sugarcoating
The
anything.
dirty truth.
The dirty
You got the
truth.
dirty. How come you're not sponsored by Depends? That's why I'm like,
Depends would have been great. You know what? Honestly, I'm not even lying. Depends if Mascots could wear Depends, it would help a ton.
bro, I'm just saying. You know, and all the assistants like Luke wouldn't have to wash it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
That was deep right there. I'm actually going to try and push for Mascots to wear Depends.
I want to segue into what you're doing now. I know you have your own promotions company. Now, what does that mean? That I can get my logo and stuff on like mugs and stuff? Tell me about your promotion company.
Yeah, no. So a number of years ago, I started Sego Promos and Rocky Mountain Production, which is we build mascots too. But Sego Promos is promo items and apparel, and we can do anything. We can do like literally anything. I always tell the salespeople, I'm like, when they're like, well, what can we do? And I'm like, I don't care what they ask, we can do anything. We can do it. So, because I had one of the sales guys, he was like, hey, we got a request can we put a logo on a fortune cookie? And I'm like, yep. We can. So, but
If I
no, we
can
do.
shit in a bear suit, I can put a logo on a fortune cookie.
We can. So, but we do promotional items and apparel and anything in between, and it's fun. I mean, it connects. The mascots and the promo world connect with staying involved with the mascots and the sporting world. So
You and I always people in our field where we work, we kind of look at events differently. One, we want to have a good time, but we're always looking at what's the lighting, how's the setup, how do I like. A lot of times I would remember you would make an entrance by zip lining into it, always adding the flair. How important is what you're doing, your promotion company? Is maybe a company is missing that flair? Could it be a key? Could it be as simple as something like that, putting a logo on something to share it with a client?
Oh yeah, no. The one thing that I learned, being the bear, was just being able to give somebody something. I mean, not a business card or anything, but just a little item. Even if it was a pen or something. A great story is, and not that I ever did it for that reason, but it was like in the summers for security, I'd bring them ice cream cones, and in the winter I'd buy them pizza because security, like I said earlier. My ability to be the bear really depended on everybody around me and letting me do what I needed, and security was a big part of that in the office or in the security office down there. And I remember one time I pulled up, and Steve Starks, one of our president at the time, had pulled up, and the circus was in town, and I remember the security guard was like, "Hey, you can't park down here. The circus has everything, so you can't be back here." And you know, I could hear them arguing a little bit, and then they're like, no, you just can't be back here. So then I back up, he backs up, he leaves, I pull up, and I remember they look at me and they're just like, there's a spot down there. And I'm like, I'll be 5 minutes. They're like, stay as long as you want. And it was just because of those little things. It really is.
It's a relationship.
So I think, you know, with promotional items and stuff like that, more than just showing off your brand, but just being able to say, hey, you know, great talking to you, here's a pen, or whatever it may be, here's a mug, you know, hat,
Different
t-shirt.
Just different from a card.
Yeah, and just saying thank you, and people will appreciate that and remember that, and it worked out, you know.
Do you have time to talk about Pretty Show?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I would love to talk about Pretty Show.
I know it seems it is a little self-serving.
It's totally self-serving. What do you mean a little?
My two friends, we decided to go in business, so we have a rental platform that we're helping champion, and we're owners and partners in it. Our friend Ron Duncan, we didn't talk about Pretty Show at all.
Or Ron Duncan.
but
He's a whole story in and of himself.
Yeah, a country guy from
South Murray.
South Murray. But with the political climate, this is crazy. I thought of what you guys were doing in Pretty Show when talks of tariffs, talks of stop bringing stuff from China, and we love our vacations here. We love our experiences. I want to go on snowboarding. I want to go snowmobiling. I want to go surfing. Are we going to have enough equipment to rent? So Pretty Show, I understand, is a rental platform. Tell me about what are your thoughts about Pretty Show, what you guys are doing there?
Oh, I think Pretty Shell is going to be really, not up and coming, but I think really a necessity for the future for people, because that, like you just said, you just explained kind of the whole, the whole world as it is right now. I know there's a better word than what I just used, but like we talked, is Pretty Shell is kind of a way for people to be able to do all those experiences that we want to do, but we don't have to be burdened with, owning it and licensing it and taking care of it. Every weekend we could go boating, or we could go on an RV trip, or we could take motorcycle, we can do whatever type of experience we want through Pretty Shell. And not only can we, rent off of it, but the word that Drew uses is rentepreneurship.
I could be my own business.
You could be your own business, and you could put whatever you want on it.
I have seen some other outfits like that just do rental cars, but it's they're using people, regular everyday people, as a Toro, I think it's called. And I think that's what Pretty Show will be doing. Is that will they be doing that? Will they have vehicles? Will they have boats like that? Like if I went to, for example, if I flew out to California, and instead of going to those big box companies like in Alamo or a Dollar Rent, if I went on Pretty Show and found a decent deal, is that kind of like that? Is that the idea, that I can rent from somebody local, give my money to somebody local instead of those big companies?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, exactly. Like where, and that's something Drew did, is he had a car that he was going to sell, and he actually made more money renting it for that year. And he would just, you'd go on there and they'd put their information and they'd be able to come over and rent the car. And he made more money. And then I think it was, Ron's kid, had electric bikes and is renting the electric bikes and making money that way. You can rent anything. And then the best part, though, that I love about it, is, and I know you do too, but is we're one of the only rental places that we give 30% back to charities.
Now, see, that's I think that's ahead of its time. Especially, whether it's going to happen or not, just the idea of talking about taking away funding, right? Taking away nonprofit federal government funding for these charities. Well, I guess we can help ourselves now. Instead of donating into those, now we can actually donate straight into the charity.
Yep, you get to pick whatever charity. Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's like 4 or 5 that we'll have, but you'll be able to donate to those. We'll add more charities as we go. But for a company to donate 30% is just unheard of. That it really is.
Yeah, and I'm not a numbers guy, but right off the bat, as a business owner, I'm sure that people might think, well, if we're giving them 30%, that means we're not making any money. But I think the way you explained it to me is that that's part of like maybe a service fee. Instead of having a service fee, it's going to go towards a donation.
Right.
I'm excited. I would love to have you and Ron come back on and talk a little bit more about Pretty Show. Maybe bring some of the guys from Pretty Show to explain it. because it sounds like anybody out there that's watching, if they have any goods, if they have a garage full of stuff, they could go on and throw this on Pretty Shell and start making money.
Yeah, I mean, I threw my generator on there. I mean, I never use it, so it was just like, well, if it's just going to sit there, you might as well try and make some money.
And
from
then really, it's up to you to push out your own.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're looking for something to rent, okay.
Yep. And you're completely covered. They have insurance for
We're
all
gonna
that type of
we'll
stuff.
put a link on it so people can learn more about it. But let's look at the coming weeks, coming months. Maybe bring Eli on. I know he's excited about talking, and even Drew will bring those guys on.
And we're going to have an event coming up here probably pretty soon.
We'll bring you on to talk about that, promote it. We'll promote it here on Buddha's Lounge and Everyday People. Any events that are coming up that you could use some public support, whether it's a donation to a fundraiser or what's coming up around the corner for you?
The 22nd is Lionheart, is a charitable foundation that helps veterans, and they have a gala coming up at Lionheart. I mean, there's a ton. I mean, I could go on and list a ton of charities. Something that we both are fond of and love, though, is March 1st is opening night for the Warriors.
Yes.
And we're gonna both be there, and I'm gonna come and tack you out on the field, and give you a little noogie, and right there.
We're gonna have a good time this
Hey, wait,
year.
I got something though.
Go ahead. I'm not saying
What the hell did you do to your thumb? I have been meaning to ask you like a gajillion times.
It's an iron deficiency. It's a lawsuit that I should have had, but anyway,
Well, now I feel bad for asking.
No, they took. I was at Valley Fair, Pioneer Hospital. Sorry, they misdiagnosed me 3 times and removed my nails 3
way.
times and couldn't figure it out. So they misdiagnosed it for nail fungus.
Yeah.
It's not nail fungus. It was a psoriasis, and what they did just effed it up. Anyway, I don't know if there's a statute
You're
of
an attorney,
limitation.
please call.
I don't know if there's a statute of limitation. I'm just saying 3 times they took my nails off. I'm still in pain all the time. I'm in pain all the time with my fingers.
Really?
But I went through them. And again, I'm not throwing shade. I'm just telling my story.
I got you.
I went there. They took it off 3 times, injected needles and all kinds of stuff. And but that's what happened.
I'm sorry, dude. That sucks.
And I didn't have a lawyer, and I don't have any money. So
If you're a lawyer, it's like,
if there's no statute of limitation, look, man, I'm easy right now.
cuz put up on the thing Buddha's number for
Wow.
any attorney.
Wow.
That'd be amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
and we'll get you help.
As John's related to my better half. Yes, it's a story for another time. When we come back from
It's
Pretty Shell,
a
we'll
great
talk about
story.
it. Yeah.
And I think we should talk about that story.
Too bad we are out of time. Thank you
gotta
so
do
much for
this.
joining
You're
us. I
killing
know
me.
your
Who dressed
OCD
you today?
I know your OCD is bugging the hell
It
out of
was. I was looking at that, just going, button.
Please click like
Killing
and
me.
share. Follow my man Jon Absey, Pretty Shell Rentals. Shout out to One Love Kava Lounge. Oh, by the way, thank you to everyone that showed up on the LGBTQ AI+. I apologize if I got that wrong, but it was a successful night at One Love Kava Lounge. We're gonna say goodbye for now. We'll be back. We're gonna take a break on Friday. We're not gonna have a show on Friday because the boss wants to take a day off. So no
We
show
never
on
got
Friday.
to ask questions with you. Like, somebody needs to interview you.
This is my show, okay?
Yeah, I know, but I want to hear about,
these
all the early morning,
Nope.
the fact that you would, I don't know, I just
Nope.
think it was crazy.
those were Listerine. That was Listerine y'all smelled. That was Listerine.
No, I didn't talk.
Those stories about the barricade. We gotta talk about those stories, all right? But as we say, if we can help one person, look, if you have a dream of becoming a mascot, I can set you up to talk to John. He can probably help you out, put you in the right spot, maybe a couple of auditions. But
Or
if we
talk
help-
you out of it. I'm just saying.
Or talk you out of it. But if we have one person, then we're doing something good. And as like we always like to say on Everyday People and Buddha's Lounge, please be kind. Any last words in closing? Don't poop.
Just make sure that if you're going to do something really hot, sweaty, and athletic, don't eat Mexican food because it'll get you every time. And it did for me. So
That's
I had
just
to
for
remember.
him. Mexican food is fine.
And then
Mexican
Sego
food
promos, SEGOPROMOS.com, and Buddha
Okay, we're
will
out.
come to your birthday
This
party.
is my
He said it.
No.
Anybody
Bye.
that
We're out.
does an order,
This
he
transmission
comes to the birthday
is
party.
over. Whoop.
He said he
Whoop.
would. Guaranteed. He's coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love you.
How you doing, big man?
My man.
Thanks, guys.
Just wanted to give
That
you
was
your
fun.
flowers, bro.
No, I love you. Thanks.
Baby, this your song, turn it up, let's vibe, let me put it in cruise, get that view next to you, only you and I, baby. Oh, baby, this a vibe. Oh, look at you, look at me, look your way you wanna be, get your frequency right, manifest the one we vibe, baby, this a vibe. Oh, baby. You know I count all my blessings, thank God for another day. Don't never give up today, cause tomorrow I might just win. Let me get a hold of your waist, you might be the fool, I could be your lover. You take the